But this is a fun featherweight contest. Sodiq Yussuf is coming off of his first UFC loss, which was against Arnold Allen in his last outing. The last time he lost back in 2017, he rattled off a 6-fight win streak in response. So I expect to see a very motivated Sodiq Yussuf. However, it's kind of refreshing to see my man Alex Caceres with the number 15 next to his name, right? And I think that for that reason, he's going to come out motivated as well. So he has opened up, AJ. I want to know what you think about that. He has opened up as a betting favorite in 4 of his last 5 wins. He has cashed in on all 5 of those fights, even the underdog spot when he was fighting Sung Woo Choi, right? And listen, man, he's opening up right now as an underdog, plus 200 underdog against Sodiq Yussuf. So he's been victorious in all 5 of his last 5 fights, regardless of what the odds makers thought. This is another underdog spot right here, but we can see why, right? Sodiq Yussuf is a very, very talented prospect. 11-2 in his MMA career, 4-1 in the UFC, and he's already had to fight killers like Shaman Moraes, Gabriel Benitez, Andre Touchy-Feely, and Arnold Allen. Even though Alex Caceres has a nice resume too. He's fought a lot of good dudes. Look at the last 5. Steven Peterson, Chase Hooper, Austin Springer, Kevin Kroom, Sung Woo Choi, right? The big win on that one is Choi, but the other ones, it's okay, but not quite the same. What do you think about this matchup, my man? Is Sodiq Yussuf probably going to come out on the front foot, going to be able to piece up the very flow style of Bruce Leroy, or is he going to be too unconventional, unorthodox for Yussuf to get his hands on him?
Man, I think we have a potential fight of the night in our hands with this one, Derek. On paper, this is the fight. This is a scrap. This is one of those ones where like, oh, okay, this is going to be very entertaining. Even if this was a point battle, it's still going to be entertaining. I don't think it's going to be a point fight. I think this one's going to be a scrap trying to take some heads off because in his last fight against Sung Woo Choi, Alex Caceres kind of playing around a little bit, having fun in that flow style, mixing things up. And then he gets tagged and then he realizes like, oh shit, I'm in a fight. I got to put this dude out. Chokes him out in round 2, gets things going, but was hurt. And if you get hurt against a fighter like Sodiq Yussuf, who's going to be all power, all pressure, going forward on that front foot all day long, you're going to be in some trouble. This is a scrap, bro. When I saw this one on the card, I was very excited because this is going to be a lot of fun, man. They always say styles make fights, and these 2 style of fighters are going to make for a very fun fight to watch. If we see Sodiq Yussuf, I mean, we've seen Sodiq Yussuf fight for a long time. Great head movement, very powerful. If we see his style of fight coming in against Alex Caceres, where Caceres isn't able to do anything, isn't able to get off the center line, isn't able to move in, hit those weird, awkward strikes, it's going to be a very fast fight. But if Caceres can stay fluid, stay mobile, stay out of range, you work those kicks, work those spinning attacks, have Sodiq missing and guessing where his opponent's going to be and then miss those shots, we're going to see a very entertaining fight at that, So this one, I think either way, however this unfolds, it's going to be very fun to watch. But, man, Sodiq Yussuf has a right hand that is an absolute piston, and you got to watch for everything coming out of Alex Caceres.
Well, my question is, how do you think Caceres deals with the pressure of Sodiq Yussuf? It was in your face the whole fight. And even though the stat is a little misleading, it's noted that Yussuf averages 0 takedowns per fight, but he ends up in top control, half guard on a lot of opponents, whether it just happens to be a trip and fall and a scramble, whether the opponent pulls guard. In either one of those situations, my man, Yussuf has showed very impressive wrestling, especially in this fight against Andre Feely, who's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. So how does Caceres deal with that pressure? It's hard to fight off the back foot, but he could fight off the back foot as good as anybody can.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He can fight off the back foot with some of the greatest, and I think he's going to need to utilize that and the lateral movement, man. Staying on the outside, hitting the switches, especially because he has that karate style where he's able to dip and dodge inside and out. I think he's going to have to utilize that, but at the same point, you got to watch your chin because if you dip when you should have dodged, he catches you with that piston. That's how a lot of his opponents end up on that ground, and then you got the top pressure Sodiq, man. Very entertaining fight.
Even though I like Sodiq Yussuf here because I think he's fought the tougher dudes as of recently, and he's got the higher number next to his name. This was a dude who we were saying like a couple more wins, he's in that title contention. Obviously, he dropped the one to Arnold Allen. Now Arnold Allen gets that spot instead. But I think Alex Caceres is absolutely not one to be played with. At plus 200, I do think he is a live dog on this one. But at the same time, man, I think we're going to see a very motivated Sodiq Yussuf come out and try to assert dominance in this fight, which we can see it physicality wise, right? We have two different frames on these guys. Sodiq Yussuf is small. He's kind of like a power ball, you know what I mean? Just like very tight muscles, you know, ball of iron. Alex Caceres is that longer torso frame, you know what I mean? That, you know, so when it comes down to just power exchanges and strength, do you think Sodiq Yussuf will be able to win those exchanges, man? Like against Andre Fili, he was bullying him around a little bit, which is very surprising. But they have a similar frame. Fili and Caceres do. So just give me that, and then we'll give our picks on this one.
I can see what you're coming from because Sodiq, he presents as the more powerful striker. He has the bigger body, he has the bigger back. Caceres, though, he has the like the technique to strike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, when somebody has power, unconventional power, because they have the right technique and know how to bang, that's Caceres. So power on this one, on paper and on visual, I give to Sodiq. But Caceres has some sneaky power to him as well, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. So when it comes to the submissions, if Alex Caceres can notch a submission, he would be the first to submit Sodiq Yussuf in Sodiq's career. 6 knockouts for Sodiq, 3 for Caceres, 9 decisions for Caceres, and 5 decisions for Yussuf. The big thing to take away is that Caceres is clearly the more experienced fighter, 14-10 in the UFC, 19-12 overall. So we'll see what happens in this one, but I do think that on the feet, if there are no grappling exchanges, I can see Caceres doing a little bit of work, man. A lot of striking off the back foot. But how does that present in the eyes of the judges? Is this the Ji-Young Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira all over again? I don't know. But the over and under on this fight, AJ, is 2.5 rounds. So do you see an early finish, or do you see this one going the distance?
Ooh, I'm taking the over, Derek. I see this one going to decision. As much as don't get me wrong, I think a finish can happen. I think both fighters are going to be pushing the pace, looking for things, and we're never really going to find that finish, man. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight, back and forth. I guess I'm going with the underdogs for most of this card, man. I'm rocking with Alex Caceres, and I'm going by decision. I see a lot of value in that plus 200 comeback, and if Caceres can fight his fight, it'll be a very long and entertaining fight. But you got to watch out for that power of Sodiq, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very technical fight, but in 2 different types of technical, right? Sodiq Yussuf is a very technical fighter. He'll throw the head kick, throw the right hand on top of it, really mix up his strikes, head movement, throw all types of varieties from the head to the body to the legs. Alex Caceres will do a lot of the same, but his is a little more flowy, technical, you know what I mean? Hitting you karate style. I think it's going to be a very fun fight, brother, at the end of the day, man. So I'm rocking Sodiq Yussuf, and I'm going decision on this one, man. I do think the man is going to be motivated. I do think he's going to be coming with that forward pressure, and I do think if you're on your back foot the whole entire fight, not only are you getting tired faster, which shouldn't be a problem for Caceres. He has a great gas tank, but it's just not a good optic in the visuals of the judges. So if it comes down to a decision, I'm thinking Sodiq Yussuf edges this one out, maybe a couple takedowns in there. But that is my play, minus 240, favorite, Sodiq Yussuf.